Hello, hello.
Yay, save
Hi,
me.
friend.
Somebody was like, "You look tired." I'm like, "I know I'll wake up when Hannah joins."
I think you look lovely.
Thanks. I think it's the lighting. There's like this nice sunset behind me. It's kind of hard to see because of the
Ooh,
light, but yeah, thanks for believing me there. I appreciate that.
my
Uh,
my all of my light is artificial. I got like three different lamps on. I got my ring light on. Everything. That's show business, baby.
yes, it looks very like warm. It looks so cozy in there. Is that your new place?
So she actually moved into
Oh,
my apartment.
oh, that's
Yes.
easier.
So
Okay, easier on you.
it's so much easier. Imagine having to move the movie shelf. It's the most difficult thing in the world. It takes like seven giant moving boxes just to move all 1,300 movies. Crazy. And I don't know if your audience knows me, but
Yeah, I was gonna
this is my
say,
movie
yeah.
shelf.
Oh,
I
good.
am a
People are like,
filmmaker.
Hannah! Yeah, on mine. Uh,
Goodness.
well, if you would, I can still hear you because I have my earbuds on. I have to, you'll hear me clapping. I am pulling my dog back to me. Can you please tell my side, who you are, what you do, and your ghost friends, not so friends that you're dealing?
Hello, everybody. I am Hannah Raoulston. I live in Ohio, which is not necessarily a spooky place to be, but yeah, I make dumb videos on the internet, nice videos for other people. I make commercials and corporate videos professionally. I'm also a voice actor. And because of that, I get to go to a bunch of really neat places and experience a bunch of really cool stuff. But I've kind of always had ghostly encounters. And yeah, my house is currently being haunted by a teenage boy, a short, older woman, and a ghost cat named Peppa.
Oh my
Also, I
goodness.
live with my girlfriend, whose name is also Hannah. We like to keep it very streamlined. You'll probably see her pop in and out here.
Yes, awesome. Hannah sighting. It's like we get Hannah and then we get Hannah sighting. Just yes,
Yes.
love it. You might get various Mira sightings as she's a good dog. She just kind of wanders off sometimes, and sorry for the clapping. I know that was like not fun to hear. Me being like, dog, come back. We
Don't
also
worry, friend. A good interruption is always a dog.
okay, I'm glad we can understand each other on that. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think how I initially found you because I found you before. Oh, what is her name? She's like the biggest creator in Canada who was like, "Hey, I love you."
Oh, Chris. Call me Chris.
Yes. So I can say I found you before that. Uh,
Oh, well. Yeah,
so
one of my ghost videos went like two of my ghost videos went really viral. I made one and I thought, oh yeah, it's niche content, whatever. I see ghosts or whatever. Which is true, but I didn't expect that many people. I think I actually opened the video with, here's some niche content for you. Turns out not so niche. And that got like 3 million views or something like that. And then I made a video like 2 days later, which is that blew up, that has like 7 million or something like that. Yeah, it kind of just took off from there, and now people know me for wearing a fake mustache and beard combo, which is very bizarre.
I love it. It's ridiculous and I love it. I'm like, I get it. She's not the same person anymore. I get it.
Exactly, like instead of putting like a towel on my head, I was like, I am a performer. I have the tools and resources available to me, because that was actually an insight. I had the beard. I had made the beard because of Cecilia's Gray. She had this whole thing with her Patreons where she was like, let's do a darkest timeline inside joke where everybody wears goatees one day. And I was like, yes, let's do that. And so I made a video for it. So I just had the materials lying around. And I was like, what's the aesthetic of a grumpy ghost? And that was it. that was it. And it blew up. And now I can never change it or get rid of that weird brown blanket that I got from my grandma.
Isn't that great too? Because people will be like, whoa, 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 is that the same? Like, is it the same? Because something changed about it. You know, like if you have a
Exactly.
slightly different color blanket, suddenly it's like, no, no, the vibe is off.
Yeah.
There's
One time
something.
I had to play the teenage ghost where it was like that RIP, that, dance thing. And I was like, ah, yes, character change. A blue blanket will do.
No,
They're not the same. Clearly, they're very different characters. They can't recognize me without the beard.
yeah, that is I always I think about the people, you know, who like go into the makeup and they have like the full costume change in between characters. And I'm like, I guess that's what makes the big difference. That's why they have a number like a few million followers, and you know, we're where we're at, I guess, because are we just not committing enough? Like we have the acting, but it do we need the extra, like the wigs and the makeup and everything? I'm like, I guess that's the
I think
difference.
high production value comes with high paycheck. And currently, that's not happening for me. I'm just doing this for fun. Like, I think it's really interesting whenever I get like, I hesitate to call them haters, but whenever I get like not super friendly comments, it's like, you know what? I don't care if you watch my videos. I do this exclusively for me because I think I'm the funniest person in the whole world and I will watch my videos more than you do. So, like, from my perspective, I was a YouTuber. I was a no-name YouTuber for 12 years before I did TikTok. And the only reason I started TikTok was because I could post my old Snapchats that I sent to my friends. I think there's a tweet from me right at the beginning of my TikTok where it's like, I missed being a Vine kid. So let's do this. Game over. They're allowing me to post my old Snapchats. Like, a minimum 60% of my content is literally just Snapchats that I send my friends.
That's great
Like,
though.
that's why it's so fun when we connect with people, because like, knowing that you like my content, to me, that's you just like me. Like, there is no facade. There is no, like, you're just in my living room currently and we're just like having a chat.
And that's one of the things I do love about your channel is like it is so clearly you are enjoying what you put out. Like it's not like there's a video every single day. It's not like this expectation. It's also it feels like just because you have videos that went viral, you don't feel like you have to play to that. And
Oh yeah.
I respect that because like recently I started singing in a few of my videos. It was very musical-esque. I was like, how do I build up to a song? Ah, this.
You act like I don't watch every single one of your videos. Get out of here.
Thanks.
I like you just as much as you like me. Get out of here.
Mutual love. Yay. It makes
Like,
me
we
happy.
are friends. We're not just mutuals. We are friends in my mind.
Yay. Okay, okay, great. Because well, that's the thing. Even with watching your content, I'm always just like, ah, yay. Like I am happy now. Like I feel like I just saw something fun. That's cool. Um, but yeah, with the singing videos, a lot of people were like, whoa, you've been holding this back from us that you can sing. And I was like, okay, one, thank you so much for enjoying the singing. Two, yeah, I put out some videos a while ago and the TikTok algorithm was like, no. So I was like,
Yeah.
cool. So I put it into the storyline, which, by the way, yes, I am that strange Mary Poppins fellow, but like of Wilmington, where I go to the riverfront and I'm just like, I'm gonna sing for a little bit because no one's around and somebody might like it, like somebody that's not alive. Because if a live person walks by, I'm always like, I'm not make
Yeah. Yep.
um but yeah, anyway, I enjoy your content and I enjoy your authenticity. So yay.
And I think you have a wonderful singing voice.
Thank you. Why do I hear squirrels ruffling above me? That's very uncomfortable. I just heard like crinkling, like right above my head.
I used
Not
to, in my
ghost.
old apartment, I used to be like in like trees and stuff like that. It was just like that was my back patio, and I sat out there a lot because I'm a writer, I'm a poet, and so I'd sit out there wistfully thinking and yearning and whatever. And so, And so like the squirrels would constantly, they lived in my shed on my patio.
Mhm.
And so they would just sit in the trees and yell at me, like literally just ah, yell at me for like hours. And I'm like, I'm sorry, this is my house and I know I'm sitting in front of your house, but we have to be good roommates. This is not part of the agreement that we had struck up. Like, if you want to take it up with the landlord. This is not a me issue.
I appreciate that you talk to squirrels the way that I talk to spirits. That's exactly, yeah. Because, people are like, what do I do? I see this thing in my hallway. I'm like, well, ask it to move, maybe,
Yeah, yeah.
or then have the conversation of like, hi, friend, I'm here. Where are you? Do you know? So now I'm
Yeah.
just imagining you saying that to a squirrel. It's like, hi, friend, I'm here. Where are you? Do you know? And the squirrel just yelling at you.
It's a very real portrayal of what actually happened. Yeah. No, one of my mods, Sydney, just moved into a new place and is experiencing a lot of spooky activity. And she was like, "What do I do?" And I had to be like, "Well, did you tell it to? Wait, can I cuss on your channel?"
I mean, maybe a little bit. I usually keep it
Okay,
like PG, but I think
PG. Okay.
most of my followers are like 18 and over, I think. I don't know. I mean, is it a
Keep it
regulation
family.
thing? Yeah, because I don't know what the regs are, and I don't want to get flagged, but I'm also like, other people curse.
Darling, if I haven't been flagged by now, nobody's going to be flagged.
Okay.
If I haven't been sworn off this app by now, I think you're golden.
Okay.
But I'll keep it PG. But like I was just telling you, like, why don't you just set clear boundaries and say, "Hey, I don't want you here. Can you stop? Please leave. No, thank you." Like that's something that I've had to do, and that's a conversation that Hannah and I have had to have several times since we've lived together, because like there's the spooky activity has definitely increased just because there's change. And so like that one clapping video that I made where I'm like, I am the night.
This is great.
There was literally like, it wasn't just me. It was me and Hannah hanging out. And then we both heard a clap from the other room. And we both just like dipped around the corner and be like, no, get out of here. What's with the attitude? No, 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 thank you. No, thank you. And then there was like some shuffling, and then we were both just like, you know what, if you're gonna cause a ruckus, go outside, go get a breath of fresh air, find something else to do. We're not going to be bothered by this. You're in our space, you follow our rules, these are our boundaries. If you're not gonna vibe properly, get out, you know.
I relate to that. I have certainly I lived in the first house that I moved in Wilmington, which was the perfect kind of hazing for, hey, by the way, ghosts are real, Wilmington's haunted. You're not crazy. This is actually happening right now. Um, it
Did
it
you
was
just did you recently discover that you could see ghosts? Is this like a new thing for you?
so basically when I was younger, my clairvoyance was like I could see all kinds of stuff, but it scared me so much that I turned it off. Like it took a while, but over time I was like, I don't want to dream, I don't want to see, I don't want to feel nothing. And it
Mm-hmm.
kind of came back around my tween years, and then it kind of fizzled a little bit. And then it came a little bit while I was in college because I was dating a guy that had a number of things that liked to follow him around that were not fun. I could start to see them too. They weren't fun. A number of times, like he would spend the night, and I'd like wake up and I'd look at the end of the bed, and there's like this creepy, like I do this for teeth. Yeah, it's like this creepy, toothy grin thing of like maybe 3 feet off the ground and like horns, and I was just like, oh my god,
Hmm.
what? Yeah, and those are the things where I was just like, okay. Then I went after college, I kind of pursued theater pretty hard, and that was in DC. And so I shut a lot of things off in order to function and stay alive. Um,
Yeah.
but things started to turn back on closer to the time when I was moving to Wilmington. Like it wasn't an immediate switch, but I started to notice more things. I really worked on my mental health, which is a huge thing I put on my
I
channel.
love
People
that.
are like, yeah, I was like, hey, everybody, I went to therapy. That's how I started to see again because I learned to accept myself and all of my life. So,
See, people just ask me if I'm schizophrenic all the time, so I just asked my therapist on camera.
yeah,
He
I've
was like,
seen that.
"Here's from the source." He says no.
Exactly, exactly. And I do the same thing. So, but no, I moved to Wilmington on a whim. I really think that was one of those like higher fate, higher self, higher whatever was like, hey, you need to be happy and you need to actually feel like you're alive. Go live in this new place where you don't know anyone or anything and see how it goes. Turns out to be the best decision I think I've ever made. Um, but the first ghost, my partner and I moved in, or the first house, we did not move into a ghost. That'd be extra. Don't even want to think about it.
Saucy.
Yeah. Uh, my mind's not going there. I have a very my imagination. Anyway, so we move into this house and we're on the house tour. And we already knew that we were going to rent the house because we were just like, this house is perfect. We love it. Um, I brought the check with me because I was like, done. But even on the tour, I felt like somebody was following us around. Like they were very curious about us and they didn't get too close, but they were very much like, who are you? What are you doing? That kind of thing. The other ghost that I picked up on was in the master bathroom. And this ghost only made himself aware to women because he liked to watch.
Mm.
Fortunately, never when I was on the toilet. I found this over time. He was Mira, honey. Um, he was not a toilet watcher. He was a, hey, are you about to change right now? Can I watch? Or hey, are you getting into
Uh,
the shower? What are you doing? Do you want company? And I'm just like, hi, sir. Do you know where you are?
yeah.
um, I don't remember what the original question was. By the way, I went off on this
What
tangent.
is your story about seeing ghosts?
Yes, that's that was that was that. Wait, there was a
It's
glitch.
always weird when you have like these random encounters with like, because like, you know, we don't know anything. If there's anything that I've learned, it's like anything is possible. Like people are like, well, it's a demon, or like, oh, that's like this. You can like channel specific, like you can only see certain things, and like I think it's all about an openness of mind and spirit and strength in your own identity that allows people to be able to do that safely. Because I get asked all the time, like, how do I open my third eye, or like how do I learn how to see ghosts? I used to be able when I was little to I used to be able to when I was little, but like now I'd like to do it again. And I was like, oh boy, if you turned it off, you probably don't want to turn it back on. It's going to be very very spooky for a very long time. Like I just woke up one night, I got thirsty. I walked into my living room and there was the insidious ghost. And it was just hanging out on a chair, just like, ah. And I was like, just not gonna look at you. And I'm gonna, and I scraped against the wall and I went and got water and I scraped against the wall back. And I was like, you know what? Have fun. Yeah, there's a good movie selection. Pick the one you want. I'm gonna go in here. Just don't bother me. And it's like, you just come to notice that those things happen all the time. Like there was this hookah bar that I used to go to that had this giant slinking cloud like uh specter, I guess. Like it wasn't human. It was very clearly not human. And it would just like slither across, like there was like a indented ceiling. It would just slither across the indented ceiling. And then my friends were like, what are you looking at? And I was like, oh, nothing. Like that just happens in random places at random times. But for the most part, like the ones that I see are mostly human. Like they're just people who have either forgotten that they're people or haven't had to deal with social interaction in a while. And so they're just very awkward. And they're like, oh, do I have to talk to you now that you can see me, or can I continue to just go about my business? And it's like, I don't want to talk to you either right now. So you can go if you'd like have fun.
No, I
It's just like
totally
the
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, that's the thing. My reawakening, so to speak, was not necessarily like super scary because I had come into my own so much, and I feel like I had gotten that far at that point in my life where I started to see like shadowy stuff, and I was at the
Mm.
place where I was like, dude, just don't mess with me. Like I've seen like the creepy crawlies like in the sometimes in the window, sometimes reflective surfaces, sometimes in like corners. That's why I like tell people when they're doing cleansings, I'm like, whatever you do, whether it's, with your Bible or with your, a tarot deck or something, whatever you cleanse with, because I don't know if you can cleanse with a tarot deck. I wouldn't, but like some people might, so that's fine. But I'm just like, don't forget your corners, because that's where
Hmm.
they just like, they're like spiders. They just like hang out there, and then they're like, oh, you see me,
Yeah.
and go off.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with my channel. I've always tried to create this understanding of like, hey, by the way, our understanding of demons is very centric to one religion. There are many out there, and there are many beliefs. So,
Yes.
and there's a spectrum of things, and not everything that looks scary necessarily is. It's like it's the same thing. Somebody was like, "How do you know if it's evil or not?" And I'm like, well, okay, when somebody walks in, like if you're in a room and it's a casual room and somebody else walks in that you don't know, can't you kind of gather if they're trying to harm you or not? Like if
Yeah.
they come in and they have a weapon, yeah, they might want to do some damage. But if they just like
Yes.
walk in there, is that, oh my goodness, as my dog walks away and my cat uh could you hear her like making her weird moaning noises for a little while?
No,
Okay, because she'll.
it concerns me. She was making weird moaning
Oh,
noises.
that's her. She doesn't bark. She'll just sit there and go how, how, like that's literally what she was doing for like 10 minutes.
Incredible.
Come here.
No, but
Um,
I get what you mean. Where it's like, if you see a spider, it doesn't necessarily mean it's poisonous.
mhm.
Like, there's some spiders that you can stick in a cup and you can take outside and be like, you live out here and I live in there, and you can stay there and I can stay here. Have fun. And then there's like a black widow where you find it and you're like, no, thank you. And then you drive a mile outside of your neighborhood, you throw the cup into the woods, and then you drive back and you're like, no, thank you. Get out of here.
Yes, that is exactly what it
Not
is.
talking from personal experience at all. Why would you say that?
Never, never. See, my mind, this is where my mind goes. I was like, ah, yes, drive a mile away, get a flamethrower, catch your house on fire. But I'm glad that you didn't. I'm glad that you let it go in a good place in somebody else's yard. That's fine.
Yeah, it's somebody else's problem now. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be fine there. Okay. Um,
Oh, goodness.
okay, so I remember the initial question I wanted to ask you when I messaged you about going live, which as an entertainer and knowing other entertainers, do you think that people of, and I'll say are because I'm also an entertainer, um, people of our kind of mentality, mindset, etc., are more prone to seeing spirit stuff or experiencing that?
I mean, I feel like if you spend enough time in haunted theaters, you're gonna see something. But also, but like, I mean, it really boils down to mindset. Like, you play make believe all day. And so your suspension of disbelief has a little bit more leniency where you're like, yeah, that might as well happen. I can imagine being an apple for a day. I can imagine what it's like to be a mom of three late for soccer practice. And so like I can put myself in those positions. I think the ability to be empathetic and to kind of have a very good sense of self and humanity of what makes another person a person kind of opens you up to the idea of like, well, what makes a spirit like, I have spirit currently, and does that mean that my spirit can exist without my body if my imagination can exist somewhere else? Like, I think definitely it makes us a little bit more prone, but
Hmm.
I think we're also less likely to turn down impossibilities.
It's like improv. It's like the yes and, or it's also the what if, it's like, okay, but sure, I looked at this, that, and that, scientifically speaking, but what if? Because that's what we
Yeah,
do all the time. It's, especially doing improv, comedy, certainly, if, especially if you're doing live improv comedy, it turns
yeah,
into you keep going and going and going. And you have to be just malleable and being able to take in and then immediately push out. Like we are recycling machines to be able to
yeah,
take in what's being given to us and then like put back out.
yeah. I think it's just the open mindedness that is required by performers or people in entertainment. Even like, anybody who has to deal with people on a regular basis who can be any sort of empathetic can be susceptible to, you know, opening themselves up to something fantastical, like another plane or, you know, whatever theories there are about what spirits are, just like existing, knowing that you might not be the only thing there.
Hmm.
And like with my job, especially, like I go all these weird, random places. Like one of my favorite shoots I ever did was I got to roam around in a coal mine for 3 days. And like there's just, creative spaces and places of performance, not necessarily coal mine, but like is like wherever there's a lot of just energy, of stories, of experiences, of just human existence that can track, that can be residual. I think that's really important. And, if you are a performer, you tend to spend a lot of time in places like that, where it's like in theaters where, hundreds of thousands of people experience this wave of emotions as they watch something.
Hmm.
Actors and performers, trying to give their all and, make a life and a career and get this great performance and, kind of bend their reality a little bit, you know, anywhere where there's just a lot of, I think, human energy, just like high emotional stuff, I think that can definitely create some sort of thin veil between what we think is real and what we think is possible.
Yeah, I would say, and these kind of are the same thing. It's when you're performing or when you're doing, Mira, can you not walk straight into the tripod? Thank you. Um, I love my dog. She's a bully. Um, but big bull in a china shop. Goodness. So it's being present. I feel like when I'm performing, there's not this availability to be anything or anyone besides exactly what I'm working on. And
Hmm.
apparently the cicadas that all just woke up agree. I don't know if you can hear them.
You're like, yes, yes, I completely understand.
They're like, we're here, we're present right now. Um, but it's that being present. Like I think about when I've had experiences with spirits and I'm actively channeling, I can't be thinking about, oh, what was I doing 4 days ago? What did I have for breakfast? What am I eating tomorrow? Like I've just got to be there. I've got to be there in order to receive. And I think acting, oh goodness, I'm about to make a Meisner reference, but like it's the now I'm just thinking of my traumatic times in college of my professor yelling repeat at me when I was like choking up and feeling like I was dying. Um, BFA programs, they're great. Um,
I'm in film, so I decided
that's
we
great.
just pulled it. We saved all the theater kids and threw them into our projects.
Thanks. On behalf of my brethren. Um, but it is that. It's just like sitting there and the person in front of you is emoting something and it's being able to take that in and giving it words, giving it action, giving it description. But I think it's
Yeah.
also, I know as a performer, and I'd say for this is any artistry, and artistry doesn't have to be the traditional mindset. I think there's all kinds of artistry. Some people find artistry in spreadsheets, and I'm like, you know what? You do you. I see you. Spreadsheets, great. Um, I mean, yeah. But anyway, uh, it takes a level of knowing yourself in order to be able to know another character. Um,
Yeah.
and that's something that's coming around more. There have been, you know, amazing performers in the past who are very much like, I don't know who I am. But nowadays, with this more of this advocacy for mental health, it's turned into more of this thing of like, know who you are so that you can know other characters. And I think that carries over into the spirit side because, if I know I used to deal with a lot of anxiety because I was having all of these thoughts, feelings, emotions that were not mine, which I later found out would happen in very highly active haunted spots. But I didn't know who I was. So I was having issues dealing with, wait, are these my thoughts? Am I going to, it would turn into like, whoa, is there a fire? Like I would do that before. I'd be like, something's on fire. And then I'd be like, no, it's nothing's on fire. Like I felt like I was going insane until I realized I was
Yeah.
like, this is me. Something is reliving that. I'm picking up on it, but that doesn't mean that I'm reliving it.
Yeah. That's really interesting. So what I'm hearing is that like you kind of channel through it. Whereas for me, it's very different. Like there is a very clear distinction between what is real and what is spiritual. And like one time I was up on my parents' like rooftop deck because they lived in downtown, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe 2:30, and then all of a sudden there's this big gust of wind, and I just felt like I was transported back in time, and I like heard all this like distant shouting. Like it reminds me, it was just like a movie. Like it was all this distant shouting. And I was like, what is going on? And then somebody like ran past me, but I'm on the top of a building. Like nobody's running past me. It'd be much more concerning if they were. Um, and so like nobody passed me, but like I felt somebody brush my shoulder, and I saw somebody like look back, and they were semi-transparent. And then I look over, and then on the other building is just like this large gathering of ghostly people just like flooding onto the roof. And I hear like, you know, fire truck sirens and stuff like that. And of course, I can see what's happening in reality, and none of this is happening. Everything is completely undisturbed. But it was like this weird flashback impression of something that is happening in the past that I am witnessing happen currently. And like it was like an overlay. It wasn't like I was there. It was
Mm-hmm.
I was just at a spot, and there was like, in movies where they're like, you can hear the echo and stuff like that. It felt very much like that, but it was very spooky. I didn't research into it, so I don't have like a conclusion for you. I was just like, yeah, this is fun. But like,
And
there's been stuff like that. Like, I went to Kent State University, and there's like the Kent State Massacre, where five students were shot, and by the National Guard while they were protesting the Vietnam War. And we just casually had to walk through the place where they died. And like on campus there's like these rectangles, and one day I was coming home from like hanging out with one of my friends, and I saw somebody standing there like sitting in the rectangle. I was like, that's not a normal thing. It was 3 o'clock, a storm had just picked up, there was a lot of electricity in the air, and there's this girl sitting there. She had on long blonde hair. She had on like a shortish kind of like striped shirt, tan bell bottoms, and I was like, what is going on? This is like some weird cosplay. And then like as I approached, because I just had to walk back to my dorm, as I approached, she like turned around and looked at me, and I was like, hello, okay. And so I just walked faster. And then as I passed her, she stood up and just like stared at me. She's inside the perimeter where this person died. Like there's like it's a memorial. And so like they have rectangles, like raised rectangles for where each of the bodies fell. And so she stood up and kept going, and I'm booking it now. And I get back to my room and I research it. It was the girl who had died there in one of the pictures.
Wow.
And it was the scariest thing because I could not tell. That was like one of two times where I could not tell the difference between if it was happening here or if it was happening in the distant here.
Yeah.
Like it
Oh,
was spooky.
see, I know it's
Yeah.
spooky, but I'm also over here like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. But there's only been like two times where I haven't been able to tell like it's not happening through me, it's happening around me and I'm just witnessing it.
And that may be a difference with there's the whole clairs, like some people are clairvoyant or clairaudient. I know with me, I think it's like a clair cognizant mixed with a clair feels. Some people are like clair empath, and I feel like that term has been used and abused.
Claire vibe check.
Yeah, clair vibe. Yeah. I pick up on the ghost vibes. Um, so when I was younger, because I did have clear vision, like I could see, like I knew when something was around. They were also actively like pushing me sometimes. And like I think they were
Mhm.
just being jerks about it. They're just like, ah, look at this child. Like my house was, I don't know. I
Just
don't know
push
what was
this kid
happening.
across the block.
Basically, honestly, one of my earliest memories is like I see this big thing come through the window and it comes at me from across like the bathroom, then across the hall, and then like hits me here. And the next thing I know, I'm on the floor and I'm looking up. And I was just like, what happened? And I was just in shock on the floor for the longest time, just not knowing what just happened. Um, so it was like scary stuff like that that made me want to shut it off. And the thing is, when I started to reopen, I had traces of that left, like traces where I could straight up see what was in front of me. And then I shut it off again. And when I started to reopen, it was a lot less vision and a lot more. I just knew things. I would just call out things or be like, hey, did this happen here? Like random stuff like that. So I think it has to do with how you see, you know. Um, it has to do with your clairs. Like I have a number of people, they'll come to me for like they'll be seeking consultations and they'll be like, I am hearing stuff. Like I am straight up hearing my name. I am hearing information. I am hearing voices from my ears. And this is why, I mean, I'm not clairaudient. I'm actually grateful that I'm not. It's a cool skill to have. Like I know people who are strongly clairaudient and they can be like, oh yeah, there's a conversation happening behind me. Do you want to hear what they're saying?
I already have ADHD. I can't handle any more conversations than the 10 million going around in my brain already. I can't handle it. No, I don't. They don't talk to me. It might just be that all my ghosts are introverts. I don't know, but like they just don't talk to me. It's more just like hanging out, and like I get a sense of what they mean. I see a lot of body language, um, but like they very rarely do things ever talk to me.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
that's the funny thing. I wonder if some spirits just know, or they like, like especially with your house, like you've been there for a little bit, so like you kind of have this relationship. Um, do spirits? I think they do sometimes if they understand what they are and roughly what time period they're in, and that so and so can see slash understand what's happening. They will emote in a way that the person can understand. But that's certainly not every spirit. I think there are definitely some spirits out there that are like literally yelling, and I'm just like, "Hi, I can feel your emotion, but I'm not literally hearing you right now. Sorry, friends." Like,
Right. Yeah.
it's like feel a little stronger for me, and I'll pick up on that. But or really shoot out your thoughts so I can get them in the spirit. Like I call it
Yeah.
telekinesis for spirits, which sounds wild because people are like, can you read my thoughts? And I'm like, are you a spirit or are you in a skin suit? Because if you are in a skin suit, no, I blocked that off. I don't want to know what's in your head because you're right there in front of me. We're sharing a plane together. I'm good.
Yeah. I don't want the responsibility of knowing everything that goes on in your brain. You can keep that for yourself. And you can communicate to me with a filter, preferably.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what does it look like when you see spirits? What is that? What does that look like for you?
Uh, Sometimes it's blobby, and people are like, "Whoa, I see shadows," and I'm like, "That might just be how you perceive." It's kind of like I'll get the feeling. It's almost like, once again, acting related. Like if somebody walks slower, you know that you're going to need more time to get somewhere with them. Um,
Yeah.
if they talk slower, it's kind of like the same thing. It's like you have to prepare yourself to have the patience to listen to them. Um, and that's the thing. It's sort of weird to describe, and that's kind of how claircognizance works, because it's just like you just sort of know things sometimes. And plenty of people are like, "Whoa, how do you not know if you're crazy or not?" And I was like, "Well, I used to think I was, and then I got help."
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mental health, everybody, it's magic. Um, so it's kind of, yeah, it's being able to lean in that. But I encourage people. I'm like, test yourself. If you are, and I've had visions like what you've talked about, like where literally I've had spirits just be like, "See this," and then next thing I know, I am not where I am, but I am where I am, but it's a different time, and I'm just like watching things happen, and then next thing I know, I'm
Yeah.
back sitting in front of my beer, and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah." So I have had experiences like that. But the thing that I've just been doing more and more over the years is I test myself and I trust my intuition more. And I also accept when I, do the research and I'm like, there's nothing that proves that this is here. So who knows what I ran into? That was fun. And that's I just leave it at that. Um, I'm all for science. I'm all for history. I want to research things. And sometimes I will find an answer that I think is, oh, I wasn't right, only to talk to somebody like 6 months later and be like, whoa, I was right. I just did not have the facts to prove it at the time. Um,
Yeah.
I've learned to not downplay myself. It's just more like, hey, I can have fun with this. And I like having fun with this. Because and then I put some stories on TikTok and here we are. Um, but yeah, I test myself. I don't question myself in the middle of things. I am kind to myself, and I do what I can to research and test myself, and that's kind of what I do. That was a
Yeah.
long answer. Did that make any sense?
It did. It
Okay,
did. You're
great.
good.
I'm just like, and there are things, and then there's a light bulb, and yeah,
I have an idea.
I have an idea. Yee.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Like, it's definitely a skill set that needs. Like a muscle. It's less like a skill set. It's more like a muscle where it needs to be flexed and strengthened and trialed. Um, yeah. I mean, I grew up Catholic, so like the whole idea of ghosts was just like implicit. So, and I spent a lot of time in churches and around dead bodies and like, whatever. But I was a server, so I served a lot of funerals. And so I was like, that's just a person, I guess. And just having that like spiritual relationship of being able to see alive, dead, and then believe in after, and then see after, it was like really bizarre, but it was never like downplayed.
Mhm.
And then like I was telling ghost stories to my mom, and she's like, yes, I had a cousin who died of testicular cancer. And she's like, yes, after Nolan died, he visited me in my dreams, and I swore that I would never open myself up to see ghosts ever again. And I was like, yeah, one time I saw a spooky man in a top hat standing in my door, and then I saw him every single day for like 20 years. And she's like, what? I'm like, so you can see ghosts? That's nice. You want to see mine? And she's like, no. It was a whole thing. When I first moved in here, like she bought me like a little cleansing kit from like some apothecary shop, and I was like, "Thank you. I will not be using this, but thank you," because I'm pretty sure that it's just my best friend's grandma who used to live in this house, And so like I knew her, so she's comfortable with me. And I'm not entirely sure how she is about the whole gay thing. I'm pretty sure she just dissipates at that moment. But that was fuck. Oh my god, why the fuck would you do that? Oh, that was so scary. That was so scary.
Is that the
Hannah
other
just
Hannah?
slinked along the ground to pull on my ankle. Oh my god.
I was wondering. I was like, is there going to be another Hannah sighting?
That was so scary. I was like, we have a ghost cat. No, it's my girlfriend being ridiculous. Oh my god.
40 minutes. So I can spook you. Hi, everybody. Hi, Rebekah.
Hi.
Oh my god. It was
Okay, you can talk about ghosts now. My knees hurt.
Hi, everybody. Oh my god. I don't even know where I was.
You're talking about, is she cool about the gay thing?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Then I decided just...
It scared the crap out of me.
I
I love you.
That's great.
Oh,
Have you
my
recovered?
God. But
Are
yeah,
you okay?
I'm pretty sure it's my. I'm fine. It scared me so bad because she just like tugged on like my ankle a little bit, and it like went up my like pant leg just a touch. Spooky. I thought it was Ghost Cat. I was about to be like, Peppa is here, and like, speaking of Hannah though, like, she's also seen stuff here, and so like, she's seen Peppa like romping around every now and then. Like he likes to curl up whenever one of us is sitting down. He likes to curl up like on the shoulder or nearby or something like that. But one of the big things that happened was when we were moving her out of her apartment. Would you like to be on camera? You don't have to move it. Well, I'm moving it. But like one of the big things that happened when we were moving her out was that like I was supposed to do a collab with the haunting season. And so we were going to talk about Top Hat Man because that was right when all of this first started for me with like all the ghost stuff, on TikTok specifically, not in life, but on TikTok. And we were going to talk about Top Hat Man. There was like a documentary that was happening there, that somebody had made. It was very clearly a student project and it was terrible.
Those are the best.
And then as soon as we finished watching it, the smoke alarm went off in her apartment. And it was the loudest thing. And it talked. I don't know why hers talked.
Did it say fire, or it said smoke detected? It like said something.
Fire detected.
Yeah.
Yeah, it said fire detected. And it was just screaming at it. And we're like, what is happening? Because we just finished a spooky movie. And we're like, what is going on? And so like I find like a jacket or something. And I go and start flailing in front of the thing.
I opened the windows in like the various rooms on the second floor to try to get, because it was on 2 floors. It was at the bottom of the stairs and the top of the stairs that it started going off. Yeah, so it wasn't the bottom one because she wouldn't stop yelling at me. And so I went up to the top of the stairs and I did that one. And then I was like, ooh, I'm getting some real spooky vibes. And so I was like, oh God, I know it's here. Where are you? So I go into her room. Nothing's wrong in her room. But her roommate was out of town. So I went into her roommate's room and I was like, it's here, but where are you? And so I'm trying to find it. And the best way that I know how to do that is by like looking into mirrors or like into doorways. Cause I think of that like barriers or like, doorways and stuff like that. And so I looked into the mirror and behind me, crouched by her roommate's bed, was a woman soaking wet, looked like the freaking Ring. It was awful. And so I was like, oh, okay, all right. So I went downstairs.
Yeah.
And she's like, what happened? I was like, well, I felt some spooky things.
You're like, what do you want to know? And I was like, well, I have to sleep here tonight. So I kind of just want to know. I'd rather know than not know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, so how, like, I know what and I know where. Which one would you like to know? And she was like, I guess both. Like, if you have it, I might as well have it. And sorry, Sydney just said, I would not like to know. My dad filled up with people being like, oh no. But like, I told her like, oh yeah, it's this spooky old wet lady just standing in the roommate's room. And then, apparently what was going on with your roommate's bath and stuff?
Oh, the shower, like the caulking around the bath had mold, like black mold, and so the shower would just leak like where it's not supposed to leak, like at the faucet, not at the faucet, but at the handle. Mm-hmm. And so eventually they came to fix it, but at the time, like, it was just closed off. It would just like randomly start leaking water, even if I would turn it off. Like, yeah, it was very strange.
And so, like, very clearly, water was a very key element here. Mm-hmm. And so we went back downstairs, and we had a conversation about like how to deal with ghosts. And it was like, what was it? You have to set very clear boundaries. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to state your intention. Be like, I don't want you to mess with the electrical. I don't want you to mess with the water. And I want you to stay away from wherever I am.
Please do not follow me anywhere I go.
And so we came up with a game plan and a script, and then we went back upstairs because after I saw the lady, the fire alarm stopped. And so I was like, okay. And then we stood in the room because it was the longest that her roommate had been out of town, and the longest time that this room had been unoccupied. So we thought that like she had just been in the room for so long that she was trying to explore. It ended up,
and the door had been left open where usually it was just closed all the time unless somebody was in there.
Yeah. So like it was her venturing out and exploring, and she happened to trigger the fire alarm.
She heard we like spooky stuff. Watching a spooky documentary. She's like, what?
And so like we went up and we stood in the room, and Hannah said the script and mm-hmm. set very clear boundaries. And then the woman got real spooked that we were talking to her. And so she was in the bathroom standing by the tub. And then while she's in the middle of this conversation with her, she like just flashes over to inside the closet. And so Hannah's saying now a script to nothing. And I'm like, oh, sorry, babe. Like, she's actually over there. And then Hannah turns to go, oh, I'm sorry. And then starts over. I was like, you don't need to start over. She was here the whole time. You can continue. And so, I mean, after that, what happened?
No, I don't think anything really happened. It was just kind of randomly spooky, but
yeah,
I would check in on her every once in a while. I told her right afterwards. I said all of the like really boundary affirming things and like, please don't do this, like don't follow me, whatever. And then at the end, I was like, do you want me to turn the water back on for you? And you were like, what? No. I was like, sorry, okay, fine.
But boundary setting. So that's something we had to explore here, and having all of these ghosts, these new ghosts, interact with her, and it's been kind of spooky.
It's been mostly fine,
but it's mostly fine. Yeah, like we hear a lot of shuffling, a lot of like tapping on walls.
We heard
or doors.
The clap.
The clap.
That was weird.
Yeah. So it's just been like, make sure to establish clear boundaries, and then it'll be fine.
Oh my goodness. See, I hear that, and I'm trying to put my phone in a specific place so that the connection will be maybe better. It's weird. I sometimes have better connection outside of the bus than I do in the bus, and I don't know how that works. But no, I hear this, and I'm like, as far as spirits appearing like spooky, sometimes I'm just like, hi, can you try that again? Like, do you have to be wet? Do you need a hairdryer? Like, what can I give you right now? What would help you in this situation?
Yeah. Most of the time it's like, I'll be sitting here and they'll just like come over and stand by me. And I'm like, do you want to watch the show? It's this weird Alaskan show. I really enjoy it. You want to watch American Pickers? I think it's fun. Like,
yes.
Like, all right. And they'll just like sit down and watch the show with me, or they'll just do that dad thing where they stand in front of the TV for long lengths of time.
No, they're like that. It's been fascinating. The house ghost, who we affectionately call Jimothy, He, like, what was it? Why do I always forget this name? Um, Fire and Sword. It's a fantasy series that came out on Netflix this past year.
Oh, like Light and Dagger or something.
Yes,
Something.
it's that one.
I know what you're talking
You know
about.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah, it was like some
Something
element
with a weapon and some
and a
sort of
weapon.
element. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that one. No, I was just binging it one day, like before work came back, and it was still thick of it, pandemic, and I was just laying there, and Timothy's like, "What you watching?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's just a show," and he's like, "I want to watch," and so like he sits down, and we found over time he really enjoys Marvel movies, like he's all about them.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, he especially loves Black Panther. I'm like, great, awesome, that's wonderful. Like,
that's so good.
yeah, like it's been a fascinating ride, and he's always just very excited to be like, "What are you watching?" One time I was like, "I'm gonna watch a princess movie," and he was like, "Do I have to watch?" And I'm like, "It's heartwarming. Why wouldn't you want to watch this princess movie? It's wholesome."
You got to be cultured, Timothy.
Yeah, and he's just like, "Want me to?" And I'm like, "You don't have to go." So, um, though with the fire alarm or the smoke alarm, I that reminded me of something. So, when we had first moved into the first house in Wilmington that I told you about with it was like a bus stop for ghosts, which by the way, we also had a tall man in a hat that used to stand at the end of the hallway in front of the kitchen. Don't know what his
Did he
story.
stand in a doorway?
Yes,
a doorway? Because
yes,
that might be my friend Todd, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he would just stand there.
We're
And
like,
I would see him.
The same ghost. What does this make us?
This is
What
fine.
kind of connection are we?
Our ghosts are like, let's mess with them, and then they go to each other. They just go.
We're going on tour.
Yeah, that would be fine. I'm actually gonna turn this down. But besides Top Hat Man, who every now and then, because I would visually see him in the hallway, in the doorway at the end of the hall, and there were just some nights where I was like, do I need to go down? I don't need to. I will stay here. But there are all kinds of things happening in the house. But before we kind of more or less introduced ourselves to the main ghost of the house, who we affectionately named Gertie, though that's not her real name. We found her real name in records, and we were like, oh, that makes more sense. Anywho, she was a conservative Christian lady. Pretty sure she went to church just a block away. There's this historic Black Presbyterian church. It's one of the oldest churches in the state, and I lived a block away from it. And it was this adorable building that had like a historical setup. But anyway, she was not happy with me living with my partner without us being married. And she was already not happy about us not going to church on Sundays. And we, we had moved in and we're in the master bedroom, and, one thing kind of leads to another. And then the smoke alarm goes off. And we're like, okay, so we look around the house because we're checking for smoke, and it's not one of the 1 or 2 beeps saying that the smoke alarm's dying. It's like it was going off. And the weird thing is, right on the other side of where the smoke alarm was within the bedroom, there was another smoke alarm for the hall. So if there had been smoke, the other smoke alarm would have gone off because they were just so close in proximity.
Yeah.
And that it was hard to get the smoke detector off because like Jay is tall, and he kept punching the button and nothing would happen, so we actually had to take it off. And then when he took it off and the entire mood was killed, then he put it back up. So we were, and the thing is, I remember just as the smoke detector was about to go off, I saw this shadow cross next to it on the wall, and I didn't think much about it because I was just like, oh, hey, we're doing stuff, there's a shadow, but like, I know nobody else is here. Maybe it's one of us. I don't know. Like when you're in the moment and you're just kind of thinking about one thing. Yeah.
Distracted.
Yeah. But yeah, that killed the moment. the next day we did do a cleansing, not of her, of course, but just of, and we just kind of moved the energy around and we introduced ourselves and we were just like, hi. So we are not married. We don't know if we ever will get married. And that's fine. That is fine. And that's our choice. We are two consenting adults. And these are our pets. Hi, my name is Rebekah and this is Jay. These are our pets. And we got right there in the doorway, held our cat's dog between us. And the wild thing was, like, it felt like there were a collection of various spirits just coming to be like, oh, hi, you're introducing yourself. Wow, it took a little while now, didn't it? How kind of you. And, we just had that conversation. Yeah.
Sassy group.
I mean, I attract sassy ghosts. This is what I do now. Nah, Gertie wasn't sassy.
Your careers.
I'll put it on my resume. Attracts sassy ghost. That's fine. But yeah, Gertie, she was there and we just sort of were like, hey, we will do our job on the physical end to help upkeep the house as best we can as renters. We're going to trust you on the spiritual side to do the same and let us know if we can give you any assistance. Now, here's the thing. Let's fast forward about 6 months to a year later. Basically, the lead up to this was I was really stressed out. I'd had a bad day. I didn't do my normal, like, protective stuff before going on the ghost tour. My family was in town and I love them, but when you have family in the house, it's just kind of a lot.
Yeah.
I went to the graveyard and usually I'm like, it's fine there. Like, it's a lovely graveyard. I have ghost friends there and, one who is also sassy. We nicknamed him Dapper Dan on Alive. Anyway, I am attracting this. Yeah, goodness. Like, what? I'm gonna need to think about this when we end our live. I'm gonna be like, why do I attract sassy ghosts? Like, I attract nice ones, but is it just something that I put off? I don't know. Anyway, but no, that night at the graveyard just didn't feel quite right. I know my story was a little bit shorter just because I didn't feel right. And then I felt like something was following myself in the group on the way back down the hill to where the meeting spot is. But I kept putting it off because, like, I'm talking to my mom and, we're talking about, like, getting pizza later and stuff. And I was just like, nah, it's fine. Well, I eventually get back up to my house and I'm still feeling like there's this kind of shadow thing behind me. But because I'm not in the right mindset and I wasn't fully conscious of what I was feeling and I was still getting my mental health in check, like, it was a number of things. Plus we hadn't done proper cleansings in a little while. Like, there was a whole lead up of factors of why this happened. But am I still there?
I see you're good.
Oh, great. Yeah, because it keeps being like, you've lost
connection.
Slipping.
Lost it found.
Okay, goodness. Once again, like, if I hold it, will it change? Apparently. Okay.
It is not just a connection.
I am the answer to my problems. Yay. Great. Apparently. Okay.
It is not just a connection.
I am the answer to my problems. Yay. Great.
You are the chosen.
It was like in my head being like, you can't wake him up. He doesn't care. And I was just like, like, mom mode is happening. And I'm just like, like, my dog's upset too. And I don't know why. And I can't move. And I'm just like, I'm calling out. I'm just like, please, somebody help. Somebody nearby, help. Help. And then the smoke detector goes off. The smoke detector goes off. And it is like, obviously the whole house wakes up. And, of course, we're all talking. Lights turn on immediately. And it doesn't stop going off until Jay ripped it off the ceiling and pulled out the batteries. It just wouldn't stop. And once again, it wasn't defective and it wasn't actual smoke. So to my understanding, that was Gertie. She heard me and she was like, you let something in my house. And she also gave a warning that night. It was also this feeling of, get it out of my house. You let it in, get it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did. We did a cleansing and you know, my partner and I talked about everything, and we were just like, hi. And he was like, I was having nightmares. Why was I having nightmares? I don't have nightmares like that. And I was like, yeah, me too. Apparently the dog too. Everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've had
smoke
night terrors
detectors.
ever since I was little. Yeah, but I've had night terrors ever since I was little, and I have nightmares all the time. It's just like a way that my brain is wired. It's super fun. But like, there's like this big, I mean, I've been asked a couple times in my comments now, what is the difference between like sleep paralysis and like seeing something spooky like that versus like being able to see spirits? And I think that there's a very big difference. Like I have been tested for the sleep paralysis, and that is not the answer that I was given. So like for me, it's like, well, I already knew that it was just my ability to, you know, interact with paranormal versus like something else happening. Like I know what it is. It's just whether or not the science will back me up on it. So a lot of people say like, well, how like, especially when it comes to Top Hat Man, how do you know it's not just a sleep paralysis demon? And I always say it's like an intuition thing. It's so different. Like I trust my intuition inherently. It is my number one skill. I can read people, places, and things flawlessly. It is an infallible skill that I have. It is the only thing that I trust implicitly. So I know that whatever I'm sensing in the room, even if I'm not able to cognitively interpret it, I know that my body and like everything else is interpreting it, even if I can't figure out what it is. Like something is happening. I know about it, even if I can't articulate it.
Yeah, it does feel different. And I think that's what it comes down to when you were asking earlier. It's like, how do you perceive? Like, can you explain that? And it's just like, it feels different. Like I'm a highly imaginative person. That should be no surprise to anybody. But at the same time, when I'm channeling someone, the answers just come, and they don't come from a place of like, oh, what if, you know, it's very much like, this is this, this is this, this is this, this is this, you know.
It all feels so different.
Yeah.
Like it's the difference of like when you see a bee versus when you see a wasp. Like it's like knowing the difference and not having to question that. Like you can tell by the way that it sounds flying. Like there's just something instinctual about it.
And going back to the whole, like, is it sleep paralysis? Is it something paranormal? Like, some people do have sleep paralysis, and it is a mental thing that you can take medication for, which is great.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If, as far as like spirit stuff goes, if it's terrorizing you and you're not sure if it's your intuition or anything like that, and if you can get mental health and help, and they're just like, yeah, you have this, and we're going to start you out on, you know, a trial of something and see if it works, and go figure it does, and suddenly you're sleeping better and you're not being terrorized. Congratulations, science fixed your problem. How awesome is that? You know. Yeah, like the difference is, I feel like with sleep paralysis, if it's not happening all the time, if you can attribute it to something specific, if you feel like, can actually feel something holding you down, that is, you know, like if you feel hands or something like that, that's another the clairtangency, which also spiritual consent. I don't like to be touched, period. And I tell all my spirits that. I'm just like, don't, unless I offer my consent. And that's another thing. People are like, wait, you can tell a ghost to stop? And I'm like, yes, and I highly recommend it. If it's uncomfortable to you, that says something. Be true to yourself.
Some ghosts understand consent better than some men.
Yes. Crazy how that works.
Bizarre.
Yep.
Even people from the 18th century get it, Jeff. Like, get out of here.
That is a whole thing. Yeah.
I used to have a ghost named John, because the way that I see spirits, like it's kind of like when you take a flash picture in a dark room, where it's like you get the initial and it's like very clear, and then it fades. That's what it looks like when I see something. Or it's like semi-transparent. It's like half there, half not. It's mostly like peripheral vision of, but like in front of me, if that makes sense.
To me, I
So
don't know
it's
if it
like,
makes sense to other people, but I'm like, yeah, I get that. Yes.
I mean, you're the only person that I care if they understand it. So as long as you get it, that matters. That's good. And so like I used to have this ghost in my childhood home named John. There were like 3 ghosts. There was John, Charlie, and Mel, who I just called Mel because it always flipped between a man and a woman. And would just sit in our formal living room and like proper posture and just like look wistfully out the window. And like it was just always sad. It never acknowledged my presence. It was just sat there and looked out the window. And it's like, okay. Like I'd be going downstairs to get some water, and, and then suddenly there's just a ghost sitting on the couch, and you're like, yeah, this might as well happen. But like John was very like affectionate towards me. He would like, I used to do my homework in the basement. We had an office there, and he would like put his hand on like my back, or he would like cup my face in his hand, and little stuff like that. I watched The Hobbit with him one time. That was fun. It was the only time I ever enjoyed any of the Hobbit movies. Like
with
I was just with the ghost.
Yeah. That's how to do it, everybody. That's how you enjoy the Hobbit movies. You have to have a ghost with
exactly. And so I was just like downstairs because I used to sneak into the basement and like buy movies off the TV that like, and then wait for the bill for my parents to be like, did you buy 16 movies? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. But that's how I would like watch movies. I'd sneak down there in the middle of the night. And then I just felt like its presence standing at the end of the couch. And I saw John there, and I was like, you want to watch The Hobbit with me? And I just see him go. And then I pull my feet up, and like I have this blanket, and then I watch and I feel as the last cushion on the couch indents as somebody sits down, and I can feel the weight shift on the blanket. It was crazy. And then we watched The Hobbit, and I'm trash talking the entire time, and he's just sitting there silently just being like, because he was like a 20-year-old farm boy. Yeah. He didn't know what technology was, but he knew that I was enjoying it or wasn't enjoying it. And either way, he was going to have that camaraderie with me. But he was always so affectionate to me. Charlie, on the other hand, is evil. And he was very spooky. There was like one part of our basement of our house that was unfinished. It was like the back storage room. And as soon as you would go in there, I would turn on the lights, and the lights would flicker, flicker, flicker. And then I'd have to say, please turn on the lights, Charlie. And then instantly they would turn on. And there was always this buzzing and ringing in my ears. And as soon as you walked past the doorway, it felt like somebody just like was looming over your shoulders. And I always got very bad vibes. Like I never wanted to be alone in that room.
Yeah.
And so every now and then, like my parents would go downstairs and get something, and they would leave the door open. And if that weakens the barrier for him, he would come and just stand in my room. So I had Top Hat Man in the corner. I had Charlie standing next to my bed, looming over me. And then I would be like, hey, let's make it a party. John, you want to come in on this? And so
like John, please come in. Please be nice.
I need a buddy.
Yeah.
But like Charlie out one time, and he was leering over at me, like literally leaned over staring at me. Like he couldn't necessarily get into me. I think there was like a protective aura around me or something, but it felt like he was trying to push my shoulders down into the bed. And like it was terrifying. And so like I had a cross necklace, so it was just like, I should remember what prayers are. I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I should know
Jesus.
this.
Jesus, you're there, right? Jesus.
So I'm like trying to repeat this prayer, and that nothing worked. And so I was like, I just said, John, help me. And then like 1 minute passed. It was a short period of time that felt like a lifetime. And then all of a sudden I felt like this big gust of wind, in like a spiritual gust of wind. Nothing actually moved, but it was a big spiritual gust of wind. And then all of a sudden my room was completely empty. And I knew that John had come up and dragged Charlie out. Like he went, like the way that I saw it happen, like this is my intuition, but since Charlie was like this, like pushing, John came up, scooped his arms underneath Charlie's arms, and then pulled him backwards and flew out the room.
And to think you were calling out to Jesus and John answered you.
Yeah, fuck Jesus. I need a John in my life.
John the ghost, everybody. For when Jesus doesn't show up.
Jesus is a zombie. What you need is a ghost. You better call out to the Holy Spirit. That's more the vibe we're going for.
Oh my goodness.
It's okay. It's blasphemous. It's all right.
I'm gonna leave that with you and Jesus. Oh my goodness. Yes. So that story, I've been sitting here like to remember things. I'll like cross my fingers sometimes to be like, remember, just bring this up. So one, yes, I'm working backwards. Yes to spirits actively moving other spirits out. That is exactly what happened on a live that my friend and I did. It was on TikTok at the Railroad Museum because we had spooky, gross, backward knees, like lesions on face man who was actively trying to scare us. Like we had another ghost, like actively push him back into the corner. And that's when I ended the live, and I didn't mean to be so ominous about it. I really wasn't, but I was just like, hi, everybody. Just so you know, I am not scared, but I am going to go deal with this situation. I'm not going to do it on live right now, but I am going to go deal with this situation. And everybody was like, oh my God, are you okay? And I'm like, I am absolutely fine. If you're not okay, please go make yourself a nice cup of tea and watch something happy. I am fine. I am going to deal with this situation and help out Ghost Friend, who's currently yelling because literally, like, we were like, up front in the museum, and my friend who's clairaudient and I'm, a mixture of things. My friend, they're like actively hearing like, hey, and I'm like in my mind being like, yes, he would like assistance. He is getting tired.
It's just like the mention exclamation mark just like pops up on your brain screen.
You need, okay, I just need to have you with me when I'm trying to describe these things and be like,
okay, what I'm hearing, we need to go ghost hunting together, and yes, the answer is yes.
Okay,
1,000 times yes.
Okay, Spooktastics, I don't know if you follow her. Her name is Kat. Do you follow her? She's in Pennsylvania.
I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, but I am entirely unsure.
I went live with her a few weeks ago, and I posted it on my YouTube. She's, granted, we're all over the place, but she's wanting to create a like lady-based investigative team. So I'm going to put your name in and be like, okay, Hannah, obviously.
Somebody needs to be the comedic relief. I will happy to oblige.
Yes. No, I think you and Kat will get along very well. And I can't wait to be like, hey, do you know Hannah series? Because if you don't, you totally should. Yay. But yeah, she's very down to earth. She has a mediumship mindset, but she does go about it from the scientific and tech side. Like she is more of a paranormal investigator than like more of a medium. So that's what she does. And now I'm like, okay, well, I'm initiating Hannah into our team. Just our cross country team. Let's get a network to sponsor us, and we'll just do this, thing together. And when I try to describe myself,
I'll be in the business. I probably know somebody.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm like, okay, group chat. We need to have a group chat like now.
My friend Christine actually worked on the show Supernatural.
Yes, that's hilarious.
So like, I know a bunch of people who just actually do work just on TV. I know a couple of like spooky filmmakers, that sort of thing, who definitely know paranormal investigation people. I got connections. We'll talk.
And see, that's funny because I'm like, I know people who act in roles and that have done things in those shows and movies and that kind of thing. So great. We just know people just from different sides of the table, we're good. Yes.
I'm a producer. I know the money, people.
Yes, and that is important. Yes. I produce for theater, but not for film stuff. It's such a different world. I can act in both, but still, it is a different world from the other side of the table.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I had fingers crossed. What was it? So yeah, I'm just going to unofficially hire you to explain my thoughts when I cannot.
Yep.
That's fine. There's no money in it, but there will be someday because I understand that's important. So let's put that out there.
It brings me joy, and that's enough. That's enough payment.
Next time I'm like, this is the thing. Hannah, the thoughts. We'll say it's telekinesis. Yeah. Other thing, what was it? As far as messing with lights, I'm actually trying to teach Jimothy to do that because he was very excited about the buttons. Like right now I'm in the bus, but the van, which we also suited up to live in temporarily because that's what you do now. We live in our vehicles and it's just this little island of vehicles. But anyway, yeah, Jimothy was looking at the buttons after he watched Jay turn on the lights. And he went up to the button. He's like, I want to do that. And I said, well, try it. And he was just concentrating so hard on the button. And I was like, look, I can tell you're doing a valiant effort and I want you to learn how to do this because I think it will be hilarious, especially if we have people over who don't believe in ghosts. So,
yeah.
So I sent him over to Sorsha, who's a good friend of mine, who would also need to be on this lady paranormal investigation team. Just throwing her name out there.
Yes.
Because her ghost has taught Jimothy a number of things, which they all have ghost connection. This is why it needs to be a TV show because it's like, oh, what did your ghost do today? Well, my ghost did this.
A ghost reality TV show.
It's a ghost reality TV show.
It's just like the one person who, like the medium, and then it cuts to the interview of the ghost, and it's just an empty chair. And then it cuts back, and you're like, so anyways, John was saying.
Yes! Okay, actually, though, yeah, I think you and I are going to have to talk
or just
privately.
An empty chair with just subtitles.
Yes! Wait, this needs to happen.
This is funny.
Okay, I'm going to get my lady crew together, you get your people together, and we're just going to be like...
Are we going to create a ghost sketch comedy channel together?
Please!
Is that what's going to happen?
Oh my goodness. The answer is yes. Yeah. I will remember this.
I'm going to send you my phone number after we're done here.
Please do. Everybody who's watching right now, you get to say that you were the first to see this magic happen between...
And the rest was history.
And then we went off into the sunset together. Oh, okay. I'm good. I don't remember the other things that I was going to talk about, and I don't think they matter anymore.
So we're talking about different things. So I've been dabbling in tarot.
Yes.
But also,
perfect.
I was on one of your lives the other day, and look what I got.
Pendulum.
I got a pendulum because you use this, and I was like, I don't know what that means, but I think I should have one. And so I got that, and then they tried to sell me a mat that said yes, no, maybe for like $15, and I was like, the paper will also be fine.
Put it on a napkin. Yeah.
I'm crafty. I know how to do things. And they're like, would you like this special blue candle for $16? And I was like, no, I would not. I think my one from Bath and Body Works will work just fine.
Yes. Yeah, that's the thing.
I think my pumpkin spice candle will add a little bit of pizzazz to my seance.
Done. Yeah. Like, there's so much consumerism around the whole witch talk thing. And I see witch talk as very broad. I don't see it as like this, you must be a witch to be a part of it. No, it's just kind of like, hey, do you do weird stuff? Like, do you like candles and think about people? Cool. Your witch talk approved.
Witch talk approved.
Yeah, like, but yeah, I don't. The whole people are like, whoa, I don't know if I can afford to be a witch. I'm like, witches a lot of them were poor for a lot of history. Like that was Hannah sighting.
Yeah, she's off in the distance. It is not a specter. It is my girlfriend. And here we have the elusive cutie patootie.
The new moon is supposed to be over. We need to do this.
Oh.
Do you want me to do it?
If you want to. So we bought blue sage and lavender because not white sage.
Yes.
So we bought, it smells delightful. And so it is a new moon today. So we were going to cleanse our house because, well, we were just going to do it because, why not? We already cleansed our tarot cards that we got.
It's the first new moon since I moved in. It's just an opportunity.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Set intentions for the house. A house of love. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so yeah, if you want to do that, that's fine. Rebekah says, make sure to get the corners.
Yes, I heard. When I was under there.
when you were lying in wait to scare the crap out of me?
Yeah.
That was good.
Oh
my goodness.
I think anyway. He was like...
So, thought for the show that we're obviously creating right now. If those moments where it's like fourth wall break, if Hannah can just walk across the set and then there's like a moment of like, hey, we're filming, and then like you see the background view of like, somebody holding like a boom mic and just doing this, like that would be perfect. Hannah's like holding the blue sage and being like, oh, well, it's the new moon, and everybody's like, yeah, we know.
Yes. But seriously, I think it would be so fun to go on like a little ghost tour, little adventure, and like, because, I don't interact with a whole bunch of people who are super sensitive. Like, they might get a vibe. Like, Hannah definitely gets a vibe. She doesn't see stuff, mostly because it's for most people, they get real spooked out as children, and it becomes very scary, and they're like, no, thank you, and then they shut it off. It happens for a lot of people.
Yep.
But like being with me, it's been like, I'll look into a corner and be like, hey, screw you. And then she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, he's just, I don't know. He just felt like he was making funny faces at me, and I didn't like it. It's not how we treat people here. Thank you. So like,
yep.
So I just think it'd be so fun. Like if we, being able to like hang out with somebody who actually has a set of skill sets similar to mine, to see like if we actually do see the same things, if we have the same kind of capabilities, it'd be really neat to see. And a couple of people are saying that we need somebody to interpret emotions. We need all of the clairs. We need a clairvoyant, a clairaudient, a clairtangent. We need every single one. We're going to be like the Power Rangers. We got to do a whole like, ha! And then we get fun costumes, and then we are like, come at me, ghost.
And we always wear our color, like the Power Rangers always wear their color.
I call blue.
Okay.
I call blue.
Done. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like yellow, but I'll go with purple if needed. So we'll see how that goes. If somebody else is like, well, I need this color, I got my backup.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for everybody in the chat to realize that I should have picked orange, so I look like Velma. It's the woes of having a bob. It's fine. It's fine.
We also have glasses. I mean, they're not black frame,
with the short brown hair, bob, and bangs.
Yeah. Hey, I feel that. When I had short hair, it was, people were like, "Oh, look at you." My face seems more rectangular than it used to be. I don't know if that's me or not. But my face was really round at one point. Maybe it's because I'm tired. I don't see my face right. Yeah. Get your cleansing fix on. Happy new moon.
Yeah.
Yep. Get cleansed.
Oh, good. That's our tagline. Time we defeat a ghost villain.
Get cleansed.
Get cleansed. And then instead of like the smoke that like bursts out, and instead of it being like behind and fireworks and stuff, it's just like, it's just cleansing smoke that pops up.
I just had the thought of like, we go into somebody's house and like, they've been hearing like, creaks and shuffling feet and stuff like that. And we all corner the ghost and we all like, you only see the frame where it's us reacting. And we're just like, yeah, get cleansed. And then you see the ghost and it's just like some old lady who's like, I'm sorry. Can I help you? Like just really nice. And we're like, cleanse yourself.
Begone, demon. Granny Smith, demon, begone.
We just cleanse her out a window. And she's just like, I don't want to go.
The Danny Phantom theme song starts playing.
This is perfect.
I'm
crying. I need it to happen. Poor grandma.
Maybe we have to come make a trip and come visit you.
Please. Well, okay, here's an idea I just had now that this is turning into like it's turning into a meeting. No, it's setting our intention on the new moon. That's what we're doing. We're doing
setting
witchy
the intention, stuff. A beautiful friendship.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So since I know some super cool people across the US, and I know I'm certain you know some super cool people across the US who are like this and are having experiences. What if we all meet up at each prospective person's place? Like you have your house and stuff that's going on. And then Kat, for example, who's Spooktastics, she's in, I forget the town in Pennsylvania, but her apartment has 2 ghosts there who are very, very vibrant. And she also is a regular at the local burial ground. And that's actually, she goes live to do paranormal investigations. And she also, her partner for investigations is also up there and has like experiences. Then of course you both can come down to Wilmington and I'll take you to many places. We just sit down and talk with George, and George is like, do you have anything interesting to say? I'm not going to tell you things unless you talk something interesting. We've learned this about him.
George is going to have a wild experience with me.
Yeah. I keep that was the thing with Sorsha.
Sure you want to introduce me to ghosts? I make great first impressions, but I am a tad bit chaotic.
And that's fine. And that's the thing. So we could go hang out with George. I'd say Rupert, but I feel like he'd be like, there are a lot of people here and I'm just not feeling it. Which would be very him. He'd be like, you told me it would be you. I wanted to see you. And I'd be like, yeah, it is me and my friends. Why don't you want to see my friends? Yeah. And he's like, but they're looking at me. He wouldn't be afraid. He would just be like, can we meet later? The last time you showed me a friend, she tried to hit on me. Okay, well, that was Molly, by the way.
I would be the saucy lady in the coffee house.
Yes. That's another thing we could do. We could sit down with my friend who's a barista there, and that was the one who I portrayed in the video, who was like, wow, I sent someone here too. And I just thought it was in my head. And I was like, no, it's not, because we both sense the same person. Anyway, let's see, we could go there. We could go to Sorsha's house. She has a crew there, a few spirits who are very aware of themselves, and they would love to chat. They would just be like all about it. They'd be like, everybody can see us? Great. Let's see, who else would we go to? I'd love to meet Amy Bowski. She was in Houston. Are you familiar with her?
No.
Okay, she is a very talented medium. That's what she does for work. And she charges well for them because, and I say this, she's the real deal. And she said this on her channel too. She literally died like 3 times and came back. And every time she came back, the veil was just like, and so now it's just kind of like, whoop, and she just sees stuff.
That's great.
But she primarily does consultations for people who are missing their loved ones and want to connect, which high respect. That is not easy to do. That's very heartfelt. For the people who are honest about it. But I don't think her apartment's haunted by any means, but I'm certain that she would know places to go. She and I are mutual followers of each other, which, I'm like, yay. That's one thing with TikTok. Like, with meeting people through this app who are just like similar and just like get it. And like, to share these moments of like mutual appreciation. I'm always like, yay, I like them and they like me. Yay.
Yeah.
You know?
The bonds of friendship.
Oh, people are asking, Bowski. Let me see if I can write that in.
So my friend Abby does the whole My Demon Roommate sketch series.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea where she's at, but that would be fun if we would all collab and bring all of our ghost characters. That would just be one. Like, do you remember like Hannah Montana on Sweet Life on Deck or whatever? You remember the mega crossover that happened on Disney Channel? I feel like that would be us. Like, bring everybody who does these like character skits and just like have all of the characters in a video and then just do a couple of videos on each of our channels would be crazy.
I love that. And that's the thing. I found Kat because she was also doing ghost skits. I guess TikTok has me marked. They're like, yes, ghost skits, you. Like, you will see the ghost skits. Savannah. We have to go to Savannah. Somebody else who I met through TikTok she just got her tour guide license. She's going to be doing her own tour. Her name is Salt Waves Spanish Moss. And she's of a mediumship mindset, but she is like super historian, which I also appreciate. So like, okay, so where are we going now? We're going to Ohio. We're going to Pennsylvania. We're going to
Dude, in Ohio, we
Savannah.
have Mansfield.
Okay, what is Mansfield again? Remind me.
Prison. It's a big like 6-story prison. It is very haunted. I've been. You can do an overnight.
See, I don't mind doing that. I guess my thought is, if I'm gonna go converse with spirits, I'm like, do I want to talk
to be nice to people? You don't want to.
Yeah, I'm like, do I want to talk to a bunch of angry people who are there being incarcerated? I mean, that's like, if I can help somebody, sure, and be like, hi, you are no longer in your body. That means you can leave this place. You can do whatever you want. You can fly. Yes, you can fly. Just don't be angry and stay here. Why are you still here? Go fly somewhere. That's me. I'm just like, why aren't you flying? You could fly, like, do something. Yeah, like, I wouldn't mind doing stuff like that because I'm just kind of like, okay.
Are you cleansing our Roomba?
I accidentally kicked it. It's okay, buddy.
Sorry.
Hey, cleansing electronics is important.
Let me know.
See, and this is what needs to happen on the TV show. It's like we're having, and then all of a sudden you look over and cleansing the Roomba. Good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hold on, Dave. You gotta get my Enterprise B. Here, cleanse my Enterprise B. Maybe talk. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There we go. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Feel the spirits among us.
See, if I were one of those psychics, I could be like, I can feel the spirits of years of torture leaving as you put your...
They speak like Captain Kirk.
Yes.
When he had very intense thoughts.
The spirit of Captain Kirk from another dimension was trapped in there. Now he's being released. A lot of people love the Star Trek, by the way. A lot of people are like, yes. Somebody said cleansing at warp speed.
I also have the Galileo with shuttlecraft, and then I have an original Bridge Crew set. I'm a huge Trekkie.
Okay, so aside, you know how they do like asides that don't have much to do with like the show themselves, as far as like the purpose of the show. So that'll be it. Like we'll be in your house, and we'll all be like, spirits, and then there'll be like a commercial break, and then let's go for Netflix, no commercial breaks. But there'll be like this aside or like during the credits of you just like showing us all of your collections of things.
It's character building.
It's
world building.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you need to know where you are.
You know how people go to Renaissance fairs and there's like this big thing where they dress up as Star Trek characters who have traveled back in time to research? What if I do that with ghost hunting? It'd be like, I thought we were going to the Renaissance fair. I'm sorry there was a miscommunication. I am wearing Vulcan ears, but I'm hoping that there won't be any prejudice in the ghosts.
I love it. I approve. Yes.
I have set phasers to cleanse.
Yes, I am for this. I support it. I'm also in support of, you know, having what the talking heads they call them, or like the asides or whatever. And then all of, you know, and every now and then, you know, ghost pops in. You're like, hey, nope, no, go on.
It'll be like The Office. Like we need a crew to follow us around as all three of us walk into a room, and then we all just like get into the zone, and I'm like, hey, knock it off, and you're like, allow me to help you, and then all the other people are like, let's have a conversation. It's just like toddlers in a room trying to find which toy to play with, and then it just like cuts to the interviews. And then we're just like, yeah, I don't know what she's talking to, but I found this spooky man over in the corner and he seemed nice, so I'm gonna talk to him. He didn't say anything to me, but it was good company.
That would be it. And that's the thing. I want people to walk away from the show being like, wait, I know that they actually see stuff, but I don't know what I just watched. But I'm going to watch another episode because this is wild. Yes. Also, thank you, Nebraska Paranormal. They just gave me shades. Yeah, I think
this was wild. Really cool sunglasses.
Yeah.
And then, wow! There's like the CSI Miami. There was a temperature drop. This must be a really cool ghost.
Yes. Now I see this happening. I see like ghosts making themselves known. Yay! But yeah, like ghosts happening, and all of us just like in our own ways, you know. I feel like, depending on how we're feeling, I feel like Sorsha would be like, do you want a cookie? Or she would be like, nope, that was mean. Like that's what she does. She just like cuts through the BS, and she just like, no, that's not how we're talking here. Yeah. Just like, yeah. Like literally she did that with George the other night. George said something that was mean, and she was like, no, we're not saying that. That's not what's happening here. And he was just like, well, and both of us were like, well, no is correct. No, that's mean. And he's just like, bah. It's my George noise. Yeah. Bah. He would hate that. Oh my God. He would hate that. He'd be like, you what? Yeah, I already know. Yeah. It's cool. It's fine. Thanks again. I got fireflies from Nebraska Paranormal again.
Everybody's saying that it would be the new Ghostbusters movie.
But like based on facts, based on reality. Yeah. I think this should be like a mini series. It should be like 6 episodes where we all
We're starting the channel. Like we need to get all these people together, put us in a group chat. We'll start pitching ideas. We can each film Rebekah, I'm 100% in on this. I'm like joking, but I'm also super serious. Yeah. I don't want to coordinate it. I will be in it though.
That's fine. No, I understand that. I get the whole like producer of like, I want to be in this one this time. I don't want to do all the things.
Yeah.
Yes. We have stated it on the new moon. I'm literally after this conversation, I'm going to text a bunch of people and be like, hi, are you okay being in a group chat with some like wild people because this is happening. Yeah. Okay. Well, now I'm really excited about that. Now I feel like I love this conversation. I feel like it should end so more conversations can happen.
Fair enough. Okay. I feel like we got what we wanted out of this, which is to have friendship. Make beautiful friends. beautiful, beautiful friendship, and then talk a little bit about go share some spooky stories. I mean, you said that this was going to take an hour, which I thought was a little rude. I gave it 3 hours, and
okay, the reason why I gave it an hour is because when I first started scheduling the lives, I was like kind of overshooting myself because I'd just be like, we're going to be on for so long. So I'm going to, make the time a lot longer. And then, for just natural reasons of like nothing bad, somebody got tired, or, just random stuff. I always got so worried about like ending them early, because I was like, TikTok gods, please don't hate me. I want to do more lives and I don't want to be shadow banned. Please don't do this to me.
I learned how to schedule a live event thing for you. I thought that was so fun.
Yay! And I'm sure your people loved it too, because yeah.
Never go live. I hired a whole bunch of mods. I've had mods since the very early bit. Like I never had a normal TikTok experience. Like like I made my account and then like I hit 10K like 2 weeks later. Like one of my first videos hit 1 million so fast. It was like my 5th video I posted on here.
Wow, that's so
it just like never stopped. Yeah. So like I've never had like a lull when like I have 0 notifications. That's never been a thing for me. It is every single time I open the app, it's like 99 plus. So like I have to like create alternate accounts or like I have my friends check in. So I had to hire the point is I had to hire mods super early, which are just random people that I found on the internet who were nice and interacted with me positively. Because I don't care about followers. It's like, are you a good person? Do you do the work without like me asking you to? Do you just help moderate the community, like to ensure that it's fitting the right kind of tone? And then I just pick those people out of a complete oblivion and then I make them my best friends. And it is the best because my mod squad they're freaking champions. They are the best people in the whole world. And like they've been in the chat, like moderating the heck out of everything. And it's been phenomenal. And so I hired like 13 mods and then I just like never went live. Like,
all the preparatory work.
Like, and I hired like 5 more mods. And then I was like, great. And then this is like the 2nd time that I've been live since I hired them like 3 months ago.
And I thought of this too when I asked you to go live with me because I was like, I've never seen her live. Does she do live? Well, I'm going to find out. Hope this goes well.
My lives are usually pretty chaotic. Because like spooky stuff will happen and I'll just like you've said that you were like, I'm going to go handle this. I'm going to end the live. Me, I'm like, it's time to go ghost hunting. Who's this spooky person in the corner? And I'll like take everybody with me. And like they'll send me screen recordings later and it'll be like all glitchy and the audio's weird and like my internet will cut in and out and I'm like, well, that seems like a you problem and not a me problem. As soon as it comes back, you'll be caught up. It's fine. But yeah, no, my lives are always chaotic. It usually ends up of me in some sort of costume or performing some sort of ridiculous stunt. One time somebody paid me like $60 to perform Defying Gravity. And I did. I set up like a whole fan. I got my graduation gown. I got a broom and I was like, it was so much fun. But
did this turn into a video?
I hit over. There is. Okay. If you go back through my videos, I do post some of these. I'll send it to you later.
Oh, I remember it. That's why I'm asking. Yeah, I was like, I feel I have seen this. And this isn't a psychic thing. This is I think I've seen this.
My intuitions are tingling.
I've seen it.
No. Somebody paid me money to eat a plant. Like, it's just a lot of fun. Whatever. I love going live, but like ever since I hit ever since the first ghost video went viral, actually, like it was bananas to go live. Like I went live after the first one went viral and 10,000 people showed up to my live.
Wow.
And like they were all asking the same question. I was like accustomed to like the biggest audience I had before that was like 186 people. And that was chaotic. And like, I'm a person who reads everything. I make it very clear that like I read all my comments, I read all of my mentions, I watch all of the videos people have sent me. Like, I am the person who sees all. I choose what I interact with, but I see all. So if you think you're getting away with a snippy comment, you're not. I'm just sending my mod squad after you. And so like after that, I couldn't go live. I didn't know how to like kind of process what was going on. And I gave it a shot, but like it was just a lot to manage. And so I've kind of like veered away from it. But this was so much fun. Like, this is so much fun. And like, you know, my side of things has kind of been pretty tame. I've been glancing down at the chat every now and then. But yes, I love going live. It's just been hard because I work nights. So it's hard to find time when like our normal people hours, you know what I mean?
Yes, I hear you. So if my people were to find you in places you want to be found on the internet, where would they find you?
I am Hannah Series on every single thing.
Yay!
So I'm a YouTuber, I'm a TikToker, don't add me on Facebook or Snapchat. Those are my boundaries, and I would like people to respect those. But I am Hannah Series on everything. So I have Instagram and Twitter. I never use Twitter, but yeah, Hannah Series everywhere.
Okay, cool.
And for my end of things, Rebekah, where can people find you?
Well, I am Rebekah the Ghost Guide on TikTok. I am also now Rebekah the Ghost Guide on Instagram because scammers were trying to take that name and I beat them to it. So now I have an Instagram, but it's going pretty well. I am on YouTube as Quirks and Conjure. We do longer videos there, and yeah, so mostly Rebekah the Ghost Guide on TikTok and Instagram, and then Quirks and Conjure on YouTube. Or if you want to check out my website, it's also quirksandconjure.com. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you've been a lot of fun to be with, and this has been so fun. Oh my goodness.
Abby, you're coming in right at the end. Why weren't you here? I had a whole event thing. You could have been here on time. Abby is the person I was telling you about. That Abby Owen in the chat. Hold on. Ugh. Abby, I'm going to have to connect you. Oh, God. I'm also just going to make you... No, whatever. I will send you... We'll connect everybody. Abby, I need you to send me your phone number. So yeah. We're all going to be in a group chat. We're all going to start a mock reality TV show of ghost hunter gals.
Yes.
It's our happening. Ghost pals. Tagline, copyright. Ghost hunter gals and their spooky pals.
I love it.
That's her channel name.
I love it.
Yep.
Yes, for it. Yes. Other thing. I like to post my lives on YouTube. Once they're kind of available. Are you cool with that? I will tag you on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I consent to you using my image. I don't have to talk to my agent, but I am. I think I'm okay with it.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, right? Who just sent that? I know Anna Parent sent... Oh, that was from Goggles. Or Anna Parent.
That was from Goggles.
And Parent sent Goggles.
Google has answered the chat.
My phone's dying. That's why it was like, no. And balloons. Thanks so much. Yes, Ghost Hunter Gals and their spooky pals. Yes, that is the name. It has now been copywritten through intention. And it's going to happen.
Yes.
So...
Well, we said it now, live, and then you'll also be posting this on YouTube. And so we have said it, and we've claimed it. That's how copyright works.
Right. That's totally how it works.
We need to write it down. Somebody write it down.
And put a little C with a circle around it. Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
That's super official, right?
Yeah, everybody will know because that little mark is right there. Yep. This was
Incredible.
very silly.
Let me grab a screen cap so I can post. Are you cool with being posted on my Instagram?
Yeah. I don't know what I look like right now.
Smile. Everybody in the chat, smile. Hello, can you see me? Hold on, I did it wrong.
Oh my god. Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Did
everybody smile? Good.
Because it's probably me being like, am I still smiling? I had to learn how to take photos of myself, by the way. Like, it was not a learned skill. That millennials, you grow up and you look back and you're like, I did have to learn this skill, and I still don't know if I have it. So, yes. Oh goodness.
That's all right.
Yeah, all is fine. I gotta get out of here. You've been great. Now I'm like, I must do things before I go to sleep. This is important.
Hold on, Rebekah, look at the shirt that I wore just for you. Okay, I got this new. Okay, so it's a spooky skeleton, and then at the bottom it says, "You make me feel alive."
I love it. I
wore that just for our conversation today.
I want one, but for my dog. I don't know what that says about me.
Yes.
It
says that you and I will be great friends.
Okay. This is the start of a beautiful friendship.
Beautiful friendship.
Okay. Have a good night. Please let other Hannah know to have a good night and that her cleansing was great.
Bye.
Bye. Oh wait, she's coming.
She's coming.
Yes, she's going to be in the frame for this.
Bye.
Bye. I'll probably be seeing you soon. So.
Yes, for sure.
We're gonna exciting things in the works.
We're gonna go something.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Okay, good.
I'm watching it. So.
What? Are you really? She's been lurking in the chat this whole time.
All right. Have a great night. Thank you for joining me. We'll talk soon.
Yes. And thank you everybody who showed up to all of our live on both sides. You've been wonderful. Thank you so much. And Rebekah, it's been so wonderful. You're great. Likewise. I'm excited. I'll send you my number.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.